All right, what's up, guys? Welcome. Let's try this again. My internet connection died, but I'm back and I'm ready to do this again. All right, guys, let's go. Right, welcome everyone. Today's live stream is sponsored by Bybit, which is a top tier cryptocurrency exchange, one of the biggest out there. They have a lot of great online spot and derivative trading services. They've recently added a lot of altcoins for you guys to trade. They also have a new NFT marketplace, as well as mining and staking products. And if you sign up using the link below, you are going to get a $3,500 deposit bonus. So definitely check that out. All right, let's do this. Let's look at Bitcoin first and foremost, and then we're going to take a look at some altcoins I'm watching, and then later in the webinar we're going to look at the forex market. And as always, if you're new to the channel, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, and if you like me, hit that like button. If you like the content I'm giving you guys, hit that like button, and let's do this. So today we are going to, like I said, we're going to start taking a look at Bitcoin. So what do we have here for Bitcoin? What's going on? We're like I said before, my internet connection died. I had a webinar, a live stream yesterday as well, where I looked at basically what I'm going to do today. So I'm going to do the same thing as yesterday. I'm just going to update you guys on the same process as I did yesterday. Just give you a complete update and overlook of the market. So I'm not going to be spending too much time on the Bitcoin chart because we're basically seeing the same stuff as yesterday. However, I like the fact that we're like, for me, this is a no trade zone because we're below the daily moving averages. I'm not going to be able to go long, and we're above the 4-hour moving averages, and it's not really a clear trend. I'm not really interested in shorting this. I am, however, interested in potentially going long on Bitcoin around the the reclaim of the daily 50 or the daily 20, around the 42.3k area up to the 44 or 45k region, or perhaps even up to the 48 or 49k region, the local highs, the top of that previous fake out. So that's what I'm thinking on Bitcoin. It is looking, I'd say at this point right here, I'd say I'm neutral on Bitcoin, slightly leaning towards the bearish side. I mean, bullish side, right? But when I'm bullish, let me just close the door behind me. So if I say I'm bullish, that doesn't mean we're going to 100k. If I'm bullish, that means we're going to see short-term price action to the upside, most likely, in my opinion. Because I'm a short-term trader. I'm a day trader. I'm a swing trader trading on a daily basis. I'm looking for intraday entries on trades that hopefully turn into swing trades, right? So you could say I'm a day trading swing trader. Nice. Let me just copy of this. GBP USD long journal. Right. Let's remove that one. I'm saving this to add to my journal. Right. So Bitcoin. Yeah. So look at the 1 hour. I'm not interested in the trade here, so I'm just gonna put some alerts here. I'm gonna put one alert right here, and another alert down here. Now, what I want to show you is something rather interesting on XMR, which is that Monero currency, which Sayas posted a setup in the bird nest, and I was, slightly too late. If you look at I'm going to share with you the actual setup that I posted. So you go into the official calls channel inside the bird nest right here, and you will see that I posted a trade setup on XMR. Intraday swing trader, is this scalping? No, it's completely different. Scalping is when you're trading the lower time frames, like the 1 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute, or the 1 hour. I'm mostly focused on the daily and the 4 hour time frames. Anyway, so here's the trading setup that I posted. in the Bubness at 9:49. So at 9:49, check UTC plus 2. So at 9:49, so at 9:45, we had that retest of the buy zone, and so right after having that retest, I posted the setup, which is very, very unfortunate because I'm going to show you why, right? So this setup on Monero was based on this, right? So what I really first wanted to do was I wanted to wait for this 4-hour candle to close to confirm this trade, because that's usually how I trade, right? I wait for 4-hour candles to confirm the trade. You can see here on the stochastics RSI as well that bull cross comes in right on that 4-hour bullish engulfing candle. So it kind of, I guess it's not really a bullish engulfing candle, but it's a breakout candle, it's a bullish candle, and it also confirms the 4-hour stochastics bull cross. That's what I wait for when posting a setup. However, I decided to post this a little bit earlier because I definitely saw some nice momentum coming in on the lower time frames. However, we missed that wick into the entry right where I had my orders. Seeing this on the 15-minute, that beautiful, you can see how you have that resistance area breakout and then that wick touching with a strong 15-minute candle. That prompted me to remove my orders. I'm still going to have the setup in the Bubness as active. I'm going to take a decision on what to do after the live stream or depending on what happens here during the live stream. But I do, looking at the 4-hour, I do still think it's a decent possibility to see retest of this area before a continuation move to the upside. However, if we hit this TP area right here, if we hit the TP1 area, I'm going to cancel this setup and then wait for another retest of this area. So I'm liking XMR. Bitcoin is kind of in the neutral area. XMR is definitely one of the strongest altcoins out there right now. Look at the daily, look at this trend, absolutely beautiful, hitting high time frame resistance right here. But this trade right here was basically based on the fact that you might still be able to long into resistance because you have some clear levels here in this resistance area, and it's basically, you would still just fill this whole resistance area on that long. Right, so what else am I watching? Let's check the altcoins from yesterday. We have Near, which is reclaiming this area quite nicely right here. Not sure I'm ready to long this. Like I said, I want to see a little bit deeper retrace. I want to see a touch of the 4-hour 20 EMA. So what I'll do here is I'll add an alert on the 4-hour 20 EMA. I've also promised you guys that I'm going to show you exactly how I have the my EMA set up with that indicator called the higher time frame EMA. So I will show you the indicator that I use, which is this one. I'm going to link it to you. It's called Higher Time Frame EMA by Sen and the Art of Trading. So I'm going to take that one. I'm going to link it in the chat, in the YouTube chat. And then what I want you guys to do, I want you to either do this right now or watch the replay, whatever, if you want to set up as I have. What you do is you add 4 of these, right? 1 for each moving average you want to track, right? So for me, that would be 1 for the 4-hour 20, 1 for the 4-hour 50, 1 for the daily 20, and 1 for the daily 50. So you add 4 of these. Gotta get some water. So we go into the 4-hour, the first 4-hour, and I'll show you the settings, and I kind of I'm gonna go over the logic behind these settings and why you're gonna have some of the lines are going to be solid, like you see right here. Why did I remove that one? Some of the ones are going to be solid, and some are going to be dotted, and I'll explain why in a minute. So you go into settings. First, you select the 4-hour EMA length, obviously 20. You're going to select the smooth one, not the color EMA. You go to style, and it's going to be the same color. I don't have the same color for some reason, but this is going to be the same color on 1, 2, and 0. And then you go into this box right here and you select line with breaks. What this will do is, when you're on the 4-hour time frame, let's remove everything else. When you're on the 4-hour time frame, it's going to be a solid line. But when you're on the 1 hour, it's going to be dotted. When you're on the daily, it's going to be solid. So whenever you're lower than the 4-hour, it's going to be a dotted line, right? And that is very helpful when you add the daily moving average. This is the 50, same thing as the 20, but it's the 50 instead, and different colors. Now watch what happens when I have the exact same setups on the daily, because the daily 20 is the same color as the daily the 4-hour 20. So I need something to differentiate the two. So what I've done here is, if you look at the 4-hour, the thickness of the line is the thinnest thickness. Then you go to the daily and you see that the thickness is the second thinnest thickness. So when I add the daily, you're going to see that it's dotted, right? Because I'm not below the daily time frame. So you're going to see the daily moving averages at a dotted line with breaks, right? Then you go above the daily, they're all going to be solid, but the difference is one is going to be thinner and one is going to be thicker. So it's quite easy to differentiate between the two, even with them having the same color. And why am I having the same color? It's quite simple. I want my chart to look as clean as possible, as few distractions as possible. I only want 2 colors on my chart. Well, basically it's 3 colors. It's black, gray, and blue. But if you don't think about the black background, it's 2 colors. It's blue and gray. Everything I have on my chart is blue and gray. You look at the stochastics RSI, blue, gray, candles, blue, gray, EMAs, blue, gray, and my boxes is going to be the same blue as the blue candles and everything else that's blue, because I want it as clean as possible, as few distractions as possible. All the arrows is going to be the same, blue, as few distractions as possible, right? For me, that's very important. Some people have a bunch of different colors on their EMAs. And for me, if you have a lot of different lines and different colors on the chart, maybe different colors on all the different indicators, it's just going to be messy. It's going to screw up your whole mindset, in my opinion. It's just going to be very, very messy, and it's going to be very hard to see the big picture in a clear way. Having it this way, for me, it's just declutters everything and just makes everything smooth and nice. I know exactly what I want to look for. All right, so that's how I got my EMAs set up. I also have my weekly and monthly open. This is an indicator from, actually, let's go through this one as well. It's an indicator from, I think it's Key Levels. So yeah, it's Key Levels by Spaceman BTC. I'll link that one as well, and I'll show you how I have this set up. So this is a great indicator where you're able to have many different open and closes and like midday stuff. Let's see here. So you have inputs, you have daily open, previous daily high, previous daily lows. There's a lot of stuff you can use here, because the candle closes and the candle opens and stuff like that, they're a great way to, you can basically use them as horizontal support and resistances, because price most likely will have some reaction to the daily open or the weekly open or monthly open, stuff like that. So it's a great way to have them try to integrate them into your system to look for confluences. The only 2 I watch here are the weekly open and the monthly open. You know what I'm gonna do here? I'm actually gonna change the color to blue and gray, because why not? Same gray. It's a little bit Yeah, I mean that kind of makes more sense, right? Because I only want to have blue and gray. Right, so that's it. I'm gonna save this indicator template. This is great. If you don't know already, in TradingView you have lots of different templates, right? Where you can save templates like this one. So I'll remove that one, right? I'll remove this one, and I'll create a new one, and this is going to be called save indicator template. And what this is my main indicator template, which is called the RLC slingshot, which is the system I've created and named. It's called the RLC slingshot. And the reason why it's called the RLC slingshot is because I'm trading based on the RLC, which is this one right here. And I'm trading based on the fact that price comes up, comes down into this RLC, which will act as a slingshot and take you up to the extension RLC. So it's basically, the whole system is basically based on trading if you go long, you're trading the long RLC to act as a slingshot to take you up to the minus RLC or the extension RLC, whatever you want to call it. And why am I using the weekly open and monthly open? Well, because they act as very good support and resistances, and I've actually seen that when the weekly open is confluent with the 4-hour 50 EMA and the reload zone, and you have a 4-hour stochastic SARSA bull cross, my win rate on that particular confluence, which happens about a couple of times a month, maybe 1 or 2 times a month, it's actually closer to 100%, right? Often I miss them. Unfortunately, they happen when I sleep, but when I do catch them, it's almost a 100% win rate. So when I do get that set up, I can increase my risk to like much more than I originally do. So normally I do 0.5% to 1%, but on that particular confluence, I will increase my risk to perhaps 2% because the win rate is so very high. So that's a great way that I've used the weekly open in my strategies. All right, so let's take a quick look through this list right here. We have near, not ready for a setup, but it's slowly but surely getting there. By the way, guys, if you like these types of, tips and tricks in trading, make sure to like the video if you haven't already. Right, we got cake. Now look at this. Look at this. You see how I marked out the weekly open here, and that kind of, to me, what I'm seeing here is a potential hit of the monthly open and then a retest of the weekly open, right? So we can also use the Fib tool to kind of try to anticipate where the top might be, right? So if the weekly open would be confluent with perhaps the 50 open, ideally, I'd like to see a small fake out or wherever here and then come down and test the weekly open again, confluent with, in this case, I'd love to see confluent with the 50 man 4-hour and stochastics are assigned the 4-hour down here. That would be a beautiful setup for me. So I'm just going to patiently wait for that to happen. I have some alerts set and just waiting. All right, so we got Luna. Same thing happening on Luna. You can clearly see how we're moving according to the lines. It doesn't really matter. What I'm hoping for here is a slight retrace on Luna back down to the daily 50 or daily 20 EMA, and we have a long, and we have Rune. Not quite there yet. We need to see another push to the upside here, and then go long on the retrace, which would be around 8.8 probably. And then we have XMR, which is running quite nicely. This is also a setup we looked at yesterday. I wanted to see a deeper retrace because that deeper retrace, like this is what I'm talking about, right? You have the weekly open, right in the middle of that horizontal support and resistance area, complement with the 50 EMA in the 4 hours, stochastics RSI, bull cross. That's my type of setup where you have that insanely high win rate. Quite often never happens, but it's not never happening, but very seldom does it come along. But that's the type of setup where I will increase my risk. Right, let's do some questions. I'm gonna I know you guys just want me to scream bullish stuff and do weird faces and tell you that Bitcoin is going up, but I can't do that. But what I can do is I can help you become a better trader. I know most of you want me to give you setup, right? Do this, buy here, sell here, all that. But you're not going to do that. You might buy when I tell you to buy, but you're not going to sell when I tell you to sell. You're not going to exit when I tell you to exit. That's most of you wouldn't. It's not going to do that. It's just fear and greed is just too strong with non-consistent traders. But what I can do is kind of give you the tools necessary to be able to potentially start building your own system and trade profitably. So if you have any questions regarding trading, now's your time to ask me, who's actually trading for a living, to give you very detailed answers to your questions. All right. This is a good question. How long did it take me to become a consistently profitable trader? So I woke up today and I felt pretty shitty. Honestly, my son has been coughing all night. I've been up most of the night. I woke up and I'm like, oh shit, didn't really feel ready for the trading session. But then I kind of had to listen through the Trading in the Zone book, like 20 minutes, and there's one specific chapter I listen to quite often. It's the when he talks about how the difference between regular traders or the typical trader and the professional trader is not really how they trade from a TA or fundamental perspective. It's the fact that they think different, right? They think different, right? And last 30 days I've had and I'm gonna get to the to answering your question. It just takes a while. So last 30 days I've had not the best trading experience, right? And I felt like I was standing in the bathroom watching myself in the mirror, and I kind of thought, why is it so hard? Why is trading so extremely hard? And why is it still so hard after so many years? And I told myself, it feels like I'm very close to being consistent. It feels like I'm very close to being that trader with that consistent mindset. But I've been saying that to myself for about 3 years. For about 3 years, I've been telling myself, it feels like I'm so close. It feels like I'm just on the edge of becoming consistent. And then I started thinking about that. And for about a year, I've been trading one very specific trading system, the system I'm showing you right here. One very specific trading system and one very specific trading setup. And I'm only watching the daily and the 4-hour time frames. I'm taking very few trades. So that kind of got me thinking, well, I am consistent, right? I am consistent, and I've been consistent for the last year at least. So you kind of have to give yourself credit, right? Because trading is very, very, very hard. It's always going to be hard. And you have to kind of take a step back and look at your development. Sorry about that. So you have to kind of look at your development as a trader and understand that you can still be a professional trader, a consistent trader with with great mindset, but it's never going to be easy. right? So it's important to differentiate between what you're actually doing right and the normal struggles of trading. And that's just to find a very nice reminder to myself that I am where I should be in my trading and I'm doing all the right stuff. The fact that I had a bad trading month is just it's just a statistical fact that it's going to happen sometime. So to answer your question, how long did it take for me to become a consistently profitable trader? I started trading in 2017. So that's 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So that's 5 years. Wow. I don't, well, really, okay. So it's 5 years, and I think I've been in the business for 3 years. I've been consistently profitable. I think for the last 3 years, I've been consistently profitable, but it's not until the last 2 years where I've been experiencing the mindset of consistency. So I'd say it took me 3 years. It took me 3 years to become consistent, right? And it's a difference, and you might be wondering, like, what does he mean by being profitable and then having a consistent mindset? And I believe that being a profitable trader and a consistent trader is not the same thing, because you can be profitable without being consistent, right? Now, when you're profitable and consistent, when you're consistently profitable, that won't happen until you reach a point where you understand that your mindset and your approach to the markets are what determines your success as a trader. And it's when you reach that consistency of mind where you're able to enter the flow state of mind. And when you enter that flow state of mind, it's when you are able to monitor the markets, right? You open a chart and you monitor the market, and you know exactly what to do. You know when to do it, and you know how to do it. And whenever that signal comes, you just do it instinctively, right? You start trading on intuition. I'm not there yet, but it's like I feel like I'm getting close to that intuitive state of trading, which is the final stage of trading. I believe. I think a lot of people never really get to that stage, but I do feel like I'm close. So how do you actually get to that stage? What do you need to do to get to that stage? Right. So this is super important, right? If you're watching this live stream right now, and so if you're watching this live stream right now and you don't really know, if you don't have a system, if you don't have a trading system, it's drop everything you're doing. Stop trading, stop investing your own money, stop trading, just randomly, because that's just gamble. What you should be doing is you should start developing your own system. And it's not that hard. Well, actually, it's really hard, but it's not that complicated, right? Well, actually, it's very complicated, but it's not impossible. That's what I'm saying. It's not impossible. So what you have to do is you have to have an idea. I've covered this so many times, but I really do think that this is very important. And please do this if you have no idea what you're doing. If you do have a beginning of a system, if you're at the beginning stage of having a profitable system, work on that and develop that, right? So what I would recommend that most of you do is you start testing stuff, right? And to test stuff, you have to back test an idea, and you have to find something that makes sense on that idea. So let me show you an idea, right? You have an uptrend, right? Uptrend, and then you have price hitting a resistance area right here, and your whole idea is going to be based on buying the break and retest. This is the break, this is the retest, right? So that's all you're gonna do. Then you have to come up with ideas of stop loss placement and take profit. I would just recommend having the stop loss placement below the last swing low prior to the breakout, and then TP at 2R profit, or even 1R. It doesn't really matter. You're just gonna test the system, right? What you do then is you have a backtesting template, which is this one, right? So this is the backtesting template right here. What you do is you use the replay function in TradingView, right? So you have TradingView right here, replay function, and you're just gonna try this system on whatever time frame you want, right? And then you calculate the average R of the exit. So let's say you're only going to exit at 2R. Your backtesting template might look something like this, right? You have a 1R loser, 2R winner. Then you have perhaps 4 losers in a row. Then you have a 2R winner, 2R winner, and you continue like this, 2 winner. Then all of a sudden you might see that you have a like a 4 winning win streak, like a 4 winners in a row, right? So you're all of a sudden you're up. You have a 50% win rate. So I've just added something randomly right here, but you see that I have one losing period of 4 trades and one winning period of 2 of 4 trades, and then a couple of losers and winners on random, just random. That gives me a win rate of 50%, but the cumulative R is actually 8. Right? So if you risk 1% per trade, you're up 8%. And that's extremely good. That's extremely good. If you can pull off 16 trades in a month with 50% win rate and 8% in profit, you're at the top of most people in this game, right? Prop firms, online prop firms, will give you an account with like 200k USD if you can do 10% in a month, right? So you're definitely up there. If you can test a system and trade setup where you're going to find that you have a 50% win rate or around 50% win rate, as long as you're above 0 here, you have something to work on. And when you see that you have a win rate of around 50 and just a profit, you have something to work on. And what do I mean with work on? Well, what you're supposed to be doing then is you have this idea that you want to go long on the break and retest. That's the break, that's the retest, this is the level. Now what you want to do is you might want to add the 4-hour 20 EMA or the 20 EMA on whatever time frames you're watching, right? So you see that the 20 EMA might go here, right? So now you have confidence. You're only going to take all the trades that hit the 4-hour 20 EMA on the retest. Exactly the same setup, but you're only going to take the setups where price is hitting the 20 EMA on the 4-hour. And the point of this is to see if your win rate goes up or your win rate must go down, but your risk to reward ratio, your win ratio will go up. Preferably, win rate stays the same or win rate goes up while profitability goes up with it. Now you know that you have improved your system, and that's when you either stay with that. If you have 50% win rate and you're in profit, you stick with that and you stay with that, and that's what you should be trading, right? Because there's no point in trying to improve your system if it actually works. If it makes you money, don't fix something that's not broken, right? So if you do find that what I've just showed you actually works, now you have a system. Now you have a system, right? Now you have a trading system, at least something to work on. Now what you need to do is you need to focus on that system and that system only. That very setup is the only setup you're ever going to trade unless it stops working, right? And that's what you've just seen right here, right? What you've just seen right here is exactly how I develop my system. Exactly how I develop my system. I've used this backtesting template, exactly the same type of thing. I had a break and retest system. I added the moving averages. I tried to see which moving averages gives me the best win rate. And I saw that the 4-hour 20 and 50 gave me the best win rate. I've added the reload zone. I saw that when I hit the reload zone at the same time, it increased my win rate. When it had a weekly open in there, it decreased my win rate exponentially. And if I only took longs when price were above the daily 20 and 50, and vice versa for shorts, it increased my win rate and profitability even more, right? So I just kept adding stuff that made sense. And finally, I remember And the funny thing, like, it's not like I had a. So what I did was I just went on YouTube, right? I watched live streams like this live stream, you know. So I watched live streams like this one, and I picked up information from different YouTubers and different traders, and I tried to fit it into my systems. I remember one time I tried to develop a scalping system. So I literally went on YouTube and I Googled, or I searched on YouTube, the best scalping system for Forex, or the best scalping system for crypto. I found a lot of different ones. I started backtesting. I saw that it's not really that good. But one thing I noticed was the stochastics RSI. That the scalping systems that I found that was remotely interesting, they all had the stochastics RSI as confluence of entry. So I figured, why not add the stochastics RSI to my system? And that's when it kind of clicked. That's when I find that's the last piece of the puzzle that I needed to really differentiate between the winners and the losers. And now I'm stuck with a system that I've been trading for about 2 years, consistently profitable for 2 years. And it took me probably 6 months of backtesting. I think I've backtested probably 1,000 trades on over, maybe more than 1,000 trades over probably about 200 pairs over the course of 6 months. Yeah, really, 6 months every day backtesting, like hundreds, perhaps thousands of pairs and trading setups every day, just backtesting. No trades, no real money. And that's the dedication and time you really need to set aside for learning how to trade. Unless you buy a system, you don't have to do all the work. Just buy a system. That's, of course, something you can do it as well. But if you do buy a system, you need to make sure that you understand the ins and out of that system. Probably best if you have a relationship with the person that created that system, so that you know exactly when or how. In that case, it's probably better to have a mentor to kind of guide you through the system, right? Because you really need to understand everything about that system, or you're not going to be able to feel you're confident in the system. And you need to be absolutely 100% confident in your system. That's why I recommend creating your own system and only taking only yeah, never mind. Let's go on to a different question. Right, so let's go. We have a lot of questions here. Let's go. Let's see. All right. I'm trying to trade on the 4 hour as well, but oftentimes it's hard to patiently wait for that entry, especially when you see the coin moving higher and higher. You won't believe it will ever come back. Yeah, so that's basically what you're. This is why I always say, like, TA is easy. The stuff that I've just showed you right now, TA is very easy. You can use a break and retest system and be quite profitable. So the TA part about trading is very easy. The actual trading part is extremely hard when it comes to managing your emotions and the mental and psychological aspect of this. It's extremely hard, and it's never going to be easy, right? Never going to be easy. And for some people, it's easier than for others. I'd say the better connection you have with your own emotions you're gonna have a better time. So the better connection you have with your own emotions is going to be much better. If you're somebody who's perhaps in childhood has learned not to, like, in trading, you're going to be battling with a lot of your own personal demons, right? If you're a person where as a kid you might have learned that emotions are bad, or you haven't really had the necessary emotional connection with your parents or something like that, you're gonna have a very hard time managing your own emotions. So in a way, when trading, you have to be your own psychiatrist, right? Whenever you have troubles with trading, you have to kind of tap into that personal therapist and deal with that. Because in it's just weird, because in real life, most people have learned that failure is bad. We shouldn't be making mistakes. But in trading, failure and mistakes are what will help you grow as a trader. And the emotions that you feel, the negative emotions that you feel, you can use that as a filter and actually use it as an edge in your trading. So it's very psychological. So when it comes to this particular question right here, when you're looking at the 4 hour and you have an idea that you're going to wait for a 4 hour close. So for example, you look at the XMR setup right here, and I have a rule that I want to wait for that 4 hour close to close and confirm the setup before I actually take a trade. Of course, you have to be patient, and of course, you're going to feel FOMO, right? Just like I did here, with that retest. Of course, you're going to have FOMO and feel, you're gonna have to be very disciplined. So how do you manage that, and how do you what's the solutions to this, right? You got to be confident in your system. That's what I'm saying. You have to have a system. You have to have a system that you either bought and optimized for yourself, or develop a system. And you need to develop it and in a way where you're going to be 110% confident in the entry signals, right? I know that when I have an entry signal on my system, it's at least a 50% chance that it will either get stopped out or reach the first TP or second TP. So I know that it's just a coin flip. It's a 50-50 chance that this will play out. So why would I feel fear of entering? I know that it's just the same thing as a coin toss. I could have a coin on my desk and it can just flip that coin, and it's going to be the same statistics, right? So I just take all my entries because I am 110% confident in the fact that long term this system is profitable. It's been profitable for 2 years. I backtest this on a monthly basis. I know it works, right? If you're not confident in your system, of course you're going to feel FOMO. Of course you're going to have a hard time waiting for the 4 hour close, right? So you have to work on your system. You have to work on that confident and that consistent state of mind, right? So part of my system is also mental. Part of my system is being disciplined and being, trying to fight FOMO and waiting for the 4 hour close. That's part of my system. Now, if I can't wait for the 4 hour close, I'm trading another system, right? So it's very, very important. All right. When entering a position with your system, do you use limit or market? Good question. Good question. So I do both, right? I can market order when everything's just looking very, very good. But usually what I do is I have limit orders. So let me see if I can actually show you a setup. I'll draw up an example here, right? So you have the fibs here. So if price comes up like this, so it might bounce down here, right? So let's assume that this is a 4 hour bullish engulfing candle, right? You had the stochastic horizontal cross. That's the 4 hour bullish engulfing candle. It's closing right here. Now my setup is confirmed. I want to enter this. Now, if I enter here, the risk, because the stop loss needs to be at least down here, the risk to reward is not really that good, right? So what I do in this case is I enter limit orders on retest of 50, because usually when you have a bounce inside the reload zone, a breakout, usually what happens, it's going to retest the 50 or retest the 618. So here's also where you have to be very, very disciplined and very, very patient, because this one, it could just run, and that's okay. It's okay to miss out on that, right? Because it might just close here and explode right up to last TP, and that's okay, because statistically taking these trades are not going to give you a 50% win rate. I know that it's going to give me closer to 20 or 30% win rates. I know that it's better to have limit buy orders here or here for a much better entry, much higher risk to reward trade, and ultimately in the long run for me to be much more profitable. So I do enter market if we already have that breakout and it's testing right here and it kind of confirms here, and this is where I see the setup. That's where I want to enter market. If it's like if I'm a little bit too late, but it still makes sense. Can you give us 3 TP% ways? I'm not really sure what you mean by that one. What is the best way to get confirmations? All right, so the best way to get confirmations is to create a system, create a trading system, and with that trading system, you have specific entry triggers, right? And on those specific entry triggers, that's going to be a confirmation. I can't tell you like you should do this and that to get confirmation of your system or setup, because if you don't have a system or setup and you're not trading my system or my setup, my type of confirmation might not make any sense to you whatsoever. But my confirmation is a 4-hour bullish engulfing candle on the area of interest with stochastics RSI being below 30. But then again, there's a lot of different aspects to this. It needs to be an area of confluence, right? But usually my confirmation, it's kind of what it looks. 4-hour bullish engulfing with stochastics below 30 for long. Let's look at Litecoin. Litecoin short. Yeah, it's looks decent. It actually looks decent. I'm not going to take this trade because it's I think it looks more like a local range here, right? So it kind of looks like I don't like this, you know, this area right here. I don't like it, but yeah, I don't think it looks like a good short, but the risk to reward is definitely very good, but I don't think it looks very good for short. Once you decide on the system, do you write down clear rules, like put the system together and it type tips on backtesting? All right, so let me ask you this. If you have a company, if you're going to start a company, right? You're going to start a company, you're going to sell some stuff, you have a great idea. Would you create a business plan, right? Would you create a business plan? Of course you would, right? Of course you would create a business plan. And it's the same in trading. If you're going to start trading, you're basically starting a business, and your business is to make money by buying and selling currencies based on technical patterns, right? That's your business. So you to succeed in that business, you need to have a business plan, just like if you would have a business plan for a regular business. And when it comes to rules, part of that, the most important part, I would say, of that trading plan or that business plan is to have rules like if this, then that, right? So, for example, if I'm tired, don't take a trade. If it's after 11 p.m., don't take a trade, something like that. If you're confused, don't take a trade. If you're angry, don't take a trade. If you're stressed, don't take a trade. If you've already taken 250 trades in the last 2 hours, do not take a new trade. Rules like that, right? You need to have very, very clear rules. And then when that's outside of the system. And then when it comes to the actual system, you have to have very clear rules of the system. So if you have a system where the max confluence, like you might have 5 indicators, right? So a rule could be only take a trade when 3 out of 5 indicators are giving you an entry trigger. Maybe do something like 3 out of 5 confluences is a 0.5% trade, 4 confluences is a 1%, and 5 is a 1.5% trade, something like that. I do not recommend having dynamic risk in the beginning, but yes, like rules is extremely important. And when it comes to tips on backtesting, you should use the replay function in TradingView, right? So you can look, the replay function is right up here, and it's a great tool, right? So let's say you have an idea here, right? So your idea would be the break and retest, right? So that's the only thing, right? The break and retest. We want to buy Litecoin if it kind of breaks and retests this area, whatever, right? So let's see if it breaks out. So that's the breakout. Yeah, let's say that this is the retest, right? So when price kind of breaks this low time frame level, this is not perfect at all, but let's just assume you're testing a system here. So this is the trade, and it's going to be a 2R trade. So what you do is you can hold shift and press the right arrow to get the next candle, and you'll see, so it gets filled right here, and then you can kind of start thinking about how you would manage this trade while using the replay function. So I would probably do something like this, and then you're gonna save screenshots of this as well if you want to. Probably not when you're back testing because it's gonna take a long time, but you might be doing something like this. Move stops to entry on breakout. So you see the price kind of breaks out. Let's wait for a proper breakout right here. So that's when you move stops to entry. And then you use continue to TP. So that's the simple idea of a kind of like a break and retest. And the thing with the replay function is you can go back in time and backtest as if you were trading this live. So you'll also have to manage the trade in the same way as you would manage the trade live, because part of there's a lot of different thing that goes into backtesting. So you have you're going to backtest the validity, if that's even a word. The man, you're going to backtest the first the entry, right? So the entry trigger, that's one part of the backtesting, the entry trigger, right? And then you have to backtest the stop loss placement. What's the best place to have your stop loss? And then your trade management and TP. And using the replay function, you could get that trade management thing in, and you will also get a good feeling for how price action moves in real time. All right. Is it enough to get confirmation with one candle? Like, I can't really answer that. For me, yes. For my system, yes. For your system and for you, it might be completely different. That's why you have to actually start develop a system. How do you use Fibonacci retracement properly between different time frames? For example, 1 hour, 4 hour, and down. Can you? All right, yeah. So let's see. Well, basically, what I'm doing is I'm only right. So let's see if I can find an example. I'm only really using one fib most of the time, but one way I'd like to use different time frames, reload zones, and fibs is first. What you do is you look at the daily, right? So you can look at the daily. Let's see. So here's the daily from that low to this high. And you see that Litecoin comes in beautifully and hits the midpoint of the reload zone right here. Right? So let's say we're trading here right now. So you're trading here right now, you're in the area of interest on the daily, and you know you're in the midpoint of the reload zone. Let's try that again. I don't know what happened. Where's the reload zone? Right here. So you're in the area of interest here. You zoom into the 4-hour. Now, you want to go long because for some reason you want to go long on Litecoin here, and it's also in a great area, right? So let's say, you're going to apply the break and retest system here. That's the level where you want to see a break and retest. And this is also where we will start watching the fibs on the lower time frames. So you break out here, right? You break out here, and now let's go into the 1 hour, and we can try to fit a fib on here because that's the low of the breakout move, right? To wherever the high is coming in, right? So the high comes in on the 50. Right, seems like it just wants to continue. So let's wait till we have a high of this move, if we ever get one. All right, so that's the high and low, right? So now let's see if this makes sense. Let's use this whole area right here, and we're going to be focusing on the 50% right here. So what I wait for is I wait for a move down to the 50. We're not getting that, but basically what I'm doing is I'm trying to find confluences here of the high time frame fib and the low time frame fib. And something very interesting happens here is you'll see that the low time frame 618 and the high time frame 618 is in perfect confluence with each other, and that's the high time frame and low time frame RLC confluence, right? So when you have this, the win rate on this setup right here is actually extremely high when you have a move down to an area where you have the high time frame 618 and the low time frame 618 confirming and finding confluences as well. So that's kind of how I would like, would play with the high time frames fibs and low time frame fibs as well. Now look at the daily. You can clearly see here that even you could of course just play this on the daily as well. Just with the bounce inside the reload zone right here. But usually what I do is I just look at the latest 4-hour move and I just add the Fibonacci retracement on that. So it's not really that advanced. All right. What else? Well, basically, what I'm doing in these live streams is live trading. Just today, I just got more of a, I guess, psychological webinar, like on some trading tips and tricks. But I'm mostly what I do on these live webinars, and on every Tuesday at 8 a.m. UTC, I'll do a 1-hour live stream where I also go through the markets and look for trade setups. The thing is, I don't trade that often. I take, a couple of trades a week. So what you'll see is me doing the analysis of my trades and looking for setups to actually take. And I'm probably going to do that in soon. This is a great question, and it's a very, very important question. All right, so your views on correlated trades. So let's say 5 alts percent setups. If you were to enter all of them, your risk would increase. Are you splitting your risk across smaller trades? The answer is yes. All right. So the way I look at it, when I find a swing trade on an altcoin, you're going to find that swing trade not only on that altcoin, but you're going to find it on many different altcoins, right? So if you get an entry trigger, and it's going to come around the same time. So if you get an entry trigger within 1 hour of each other on 10 altcoins, right? If you enter all of those altcoins with 1% risk, you're effectively in the market with 10% risk because you're trading the same move, you're trading the same setup. Altcoins follow Bitcoin, and whatever Bitcoin is doing, altcoins will do the same. So if you find 10 setups on altcoins that are ready to enter, what I would do is divide that 1 or perhaps 2% over those 10 setups. Now you have the fees and everything, so I would probably want to take 2 or 3 of those setups, and I would choose the ones where they have the best confluences and the best risk to reward. But when it comes to trading altcoins, they're all correlated. So you're going to have the same setups. So if you enter many altcoin positions, you need to make sure that you manage your risk in a way where, because like everyone just thinks about the fact that, everyone usually thinks about the fact that altcoins pump together. But nobody talks about the fact that they will get stopped out in exactly the same way. They will get stopped out together as well. So you will get stopped out in all 10 positions probably around the same time. That's really important. It's much more important to think about that correlation than the fact that they're all going to run it to the upside together, because you're also going to be stopped out on all of them probably at around the same time. So there's a lot of risk that goes into that. What are the Fib settings? Let's check my Fib settings. So my Fib settings are this. Let me show you. So first of all, my TP areas are TP1 at the 0% Fib, which is 25%, and I usually move my stops to entry at TP1 when that's hit if technicals allow for it. Then TP2 is 25% at the minus 236, and TP3 is at the minus 618. Now, why do I have the minus 382 if I don't use it? Well, I'm going to show you why I have the minus 382. Let's calculate the average exit of these TPs. So how would we calculate the average exit? It's quite simple. First, we use the range tool right here, which is the Fibonacci extension tool, but I only have the 0, the 1, and the 50. So let's find the midpoint of the two 25%, right? Which now means that this right here is where I exit 50% of the position, and this is where I exit 50% of the position. So logically, the midpoint of these two will be my average exit. So use the range tool again, and now you'll see that the average exit right here lines up with the minus 382. So if I take a trade here where I enter on the 50 with stops below the 786, I know that when I follow my TP strategy, I know that my average exit will always be at the minus 382. So I can quickly, with the long tool, see that my average profit of this trade is going to be 2.96. And that's the only thing that matters. You can't really check the last TP and say this is a 3.75 hour trade, because it's not, right? It's going to be a around the 2.9 hour trade. So what's the actual Fib setting? The Fib setting looks like this. So you can pause the video, do whatever you want. You just copy this if you want. That's the Fib. I have a lot of different Fib templates right here. This one is called RLC plus average R. And I also have one which is TP extensions, which if I'm looking at the higher time frames, if I'm looking at the very high time frames and I might want to look for high targets on Bitcoin and stuff like that long term, I also use the minus 1.5, and basically it's going to be this area right here. But that's not really something I use in my trading a lot. All right, this is another good question. Do you use leverage? All right, so leverage should not matter really, right? Now that might sound weird, but leverage don't matter, all right? All that matters is how much you're losing when you get stopped out, right? So it doesn't matter if you're trading spot or you have 5 times leverage or 100 times leverage, as long as you manage your position size in a way where you only lose 1% of your trading portfolio when stopped out, then use whatever leverage you want, right? So position size is everything. For me, leverage is a risk management tool. So if I have let's say I have a trading capital of 100,000 USD, right? Now, if I would put all of my 100,000 USD on a crypto exchange, I would be a bit worried, right? Because we all know that crypto exchanges aren't really known for being super safe and super stable, and the history of crypto exchanges is not the most beautiful one, right? So I would probably want to have most of my holdings on my ledger and then some of my portfolio on an exchange where I'm actually trading. So if I have 100k USD, let's say I have 90% of that on my ledger and then 10%, 10k USD on the crypto exchange. Now, if I use 10 times leverage, I'm going to be able to trade with my full account on the exchange because 10k times 10 is 100, right? So I have the same amount of capital at my disposal with leverage, and I'm risking the same amount of money, but I'm not risking having all of my account on the exchange. I can also divide my account up on different exchanges by doing that, and then using leverage to trade with more than I have on the exchange while risking the same amount. So leverage is just a risk management tool. That's important you understand that you're not supposed to use leverage to make more money. You only really use leverage to be able to trade with more capital than you have on the exchange. And if you think in terms of leverage being if you think of leverage being a tool to make more money, you should flip that and look at leverage as a tool to lose more money quickly, because that's basically what most people do. They use leverage and they lose more money than necessary, and they lose it quicker than necessary. All right, guys. What I'm going to do now is just a very quick scan here of the markets to see if we have any trade setups. I do feel like I missed out on XMR here, and I have a feeling that there's not going to be many more trades for me today. Let's see. We had the 4-hour. BNB looking good. There's definitely some interesting moves here in the crypto market. Definitely some interesting moves here in the crypto market, but I'm going to be more focused on the forex market right here. If you have a multi-time frame EMA you'd like me to check out, please DM me on Twitter and I can take a look at it if you want. All right, ADCAD. ADCAD, nothing here. Let's go to the orange list. So gold, look at this. Gold is looking fantastic. Probably gonna take a trade on. Might take a long on gold. In maybe not. I don't know. I'm gonna add some alerts here. I do like gold. It's a beautiful area here in the reload zone. Needs to reclaim the daily 20 though. I'd probably wait for a reclaim of the trend line on the 50. But that's on the top of my list. Silver, same thing, but I'm thinking a lot. I'm liking gold more here. DAX moving higher. Let's see, USD/JPY. Now USD/JPY, we're seeing a retrace, and this might be a trade on USD/JPY in the next later today. So I'll add an alert right here. It's the wrong one. So add an alert right above the 618, but it's definitely lining up to be a quite decent trade right here. something like that. Maybe hit that trend line. I don't know. Maybe not. GBP, JPY. GBP, JPY. Let's remove this. Man, I have so many trades I need to journal. I haven't journaled at all this week, and I have already, I think, 5 trades I need to journal. GBP, JPY is retracing as well, and we're looking at the reload zone here as the obvious entry. We're putting an alert right here as well. GBP CHF, not sure what to do here, but it definitely looks like a decent long about to happen. Same thing with Euro JPY, CHF JPY. Yes, there's definitely a lot of movements here, which might activate a trade. We do have something going on in terms of news today, I think. I haven't really checked that, so let's see what we have in terms of news. Right, so today we have, there's a lot of stuff going on today. We have, right. A lot of Fed speeches here. So definitely going to check USD and Canadian dollar today. Right, what else do we have? Euro GBP is approaching an interesting area right here, but I'm not really sure what to do here. I think I don't know, I'm not really feeling this. All right, so let's go to the second list. NCD. I wanted to short Cardano, but it never confirmed. So let's remove that one. I took a short on US 100 yesterday. I managed to exit this one at entry. I also had a short on the S&P 500, and I managed to exit this one at the 50. So I took these 2 shorts on 0.5% risk each. One exit at entry, and the other one 50% of TP. So I only on these 2 trades, fortunately, I only lost 0.25%. AUD CHF, this looks like a possible long. We'd move that up to the first list. AUD-USD, very, very interested in AUD-USD. Looks like a possible long. GBP CAD signaled a short setup, but not that obvious, so gotta wait with that one. NCD CAD, I'm not sure what's happening here. NCD JPY, USD CHF, I like this one. Kind of hitting the reload zone right here. Let's check the 1 hour to see if that's the correct Fib placement. Not really. Right, let's wait with that one. All right, so that's all of the pairs. That's everything I'm watching today. No trades as of now. XRP setup seems to be XRM setup seems to be gone. Bitcoin is looking more bullish now than it did when we started the live stream, but I'm still thinking there's not going to be a trade for me on Bitcoin until we actually reclaim the daily moving averages. All right, guys, if you like this live stream tonight, it's not tonight, it's lunchtime. Hit that like button, and make sure you tune in on Tuesday when I'm holding these live stream at every Tuesday on a weekly basis at 8 a.m. UTC. All right, guys, take care, and see you guys very soon, hopefully. All right, take care. Let's see if I can find the outro.